Hello, friends. Welcome to our day 5 of grinding. And today, our goal is to hit 2000. So, I think let's try to increase our blitz rating. And let's start with 3 plus 0. And we're gonna cross 2000 rating, and we need around 200 rating points. Let's try this. Let's try increasing our rating. Actually, oh, we have some weird way of entering such positions. I think two things V1 looks pretty good, and now see knight B4, C3, and things are really getting heated up here. Queen D2 not so good. Threatening mate as well. Okay, isn't this a mate? Come on, how can you allow that? That was easy. Just a warm up. Let's get some on. Okay, it's not online and he's with around. Wow, 2000 games here. 20,000. Maybe. Hope I can play him. See him around. Alright, come on, let's go. B4, knight C3, bishop C4. Interesting. Yeah, interesting. Okay, let's take a look. Hmm. Huh? Yes. Let's get in with a knight trying to get more attack in this position. Yeah, knight is creating some problems. It's all right. I think we can put a rook to f2 so that maybe ah what's that? Just a blunder. Yeah, big blunder. Rook f2 was not the move in this position. Absolutely no. Okay, let's keep fighting. Get a king back. Get a bishop coordinate. Get the rook on the f1. Let's create some play. The game is not over yet. Game is not over. I have no option. I have to go all in. It takes on C2. Maybe I can go knight F6 check. She takes F6. Queen takes F6. King to G8. All right. I think we need to get. Mm, check. Why don't we go for this? Hmm, interesting, but I don't see a lot of potential in this sacrifice. Hope our opponent takes it. And I don't know if I have anything very, very strong here. But it's all that we'll give it a try. Anyways. And we're also having some plans of rook lift. I don't know if that was right what we did, but that is a blunder. I want to take it with my rook. So we have something. Go in with my queen like this. Creating a lot of threats, my opponent. Oh, beautiful. Check for a check. And oh, interesting, he has not captured it. Quite a good player there, but we still get his queen. Get his queen, and we're still in for the kill. Right, that's right. This game is over. This game is over. This done. So we have threatening mate in one here, and we'll be playing at 15 plus 10 classical game after this. Yeah. Oh, oh, that was close. I was about to give up the queen for nothing, you know. And yeah, that's over. And now let's play with one of our friend here. I hope you can see the stream. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Hello everyone. Please share, like, and subscribe. Yes. Show some love. We're gonna play one game with our friend who's 2114. Yeah. If you want to play me, send me a challenge on Leeches King Heist. Yes. So knight f3, and our opponent is quite strong. He is also a federated player, what I know, and I'm going to try some crazy line here, gambit. I'm not so well versed with it, but I know that it can be really deadly. Our opponent doesn't know how to deal with it. Yes. Our idea is uh, we see that our opponent is playing the French defense. So e4, e6, and here the right move normally you play is pawn d4. But in this variation, we play the move e5. We ask our opponent to play b4, c5, and we hit him with b4. Very interesting line. It's called the wing gambit in the French, and quite an interesting line. It's really crazy if you don't know what to do with it. Yeah, we get the a3 pawn, but capturing it is not gonna get anything. But yes, we are going for c3. We will capture. And our idea is to play c3, d4 and get this beautiful pawn chain. And also get our bishop on d3, aiming at black's king side with potential threats of attack. And black should be very, very careful the kind of move he making. Yeah, it's not easy. Bishop a5. Hmm. Looks like this should be a problem because now the bishop has left this diagonal. I can maybe do something here with my bishop. But I also see that knight e7 is in the air. Hmm. Quite a interesting idea. But do I have knight a3, knight b5, knight b6? It's quite a long way. Do we have that? Hmm. It can be stopped with just a6. So I don't know. There's one more interesting direct threat that is bishop b5, threatening to capture on c6 takes and then maybe queen to a4, hitting c6 and a5. Hmm. Quite reasonable, but does not interest me. So I will go with the right plan that is b4 in this position and still keep the tension in the air. I always have some kind of bishop a3 if necessary. And of course, the bishop going to d3 and I really like two semi-open files which I have got for the sacrificing of the pawn and also a very strong connected pawn chain. Agreeing that c3 is a weakness, I know, but I still have a very great center. This bishop on c8 stuck inside its own pawn chain. So bringing the bishop out is also very important. Good. Very interesting game. You're in for a long game and good explanation. This is your place where I'll be dissecting the details involved in the openings. So here, White's real plan is bishop d3 castle or h4, h5, and sometimes knight a3, knight c4, knight e3, and knight c4. We go with bishop d3. Castling right now could lead into a lot of trouble here. A lot of trouble because one interesting idea is if he castles right now, I may have this bishop takes h7, king takes h7, knight g5 check. Wow. So we have a Greek gift. So knight to f5, very interesting, but I should have bishop takes f5, e takes f5, and bishop a3, which gives me some edge. But he should have knight to e7, for which I will have bishop takes e7, queen takes e7, and queen a4 check. But if king takes e7 is there, queen takes e7, rook takes a4, a5. That knight f5. I'm looking at ideas like h4 right now, and if he castles, then I should have g4. The knight is bit guided here. I'm really not even interested to give my beautiful bishop for this knight. It's a great attacking piece in the future. So, hmm, I should have bishop g5 is also a move. Then queen c7 or queen b6. Yeah. Hmm. Bishop h3, cutting off the diagonal seems really nice. Passive knight h4. Let me just trust my instance and go h4. I think h4 is an interesting idea. It also has this kind of if the knight is not there, then knight h rook h3 and rook g3. It's also a way to get the king. And the one who tells that I should have castled, well, I also have this idea of just sliding my king in after king f1 and king g1. We call it an artificial castling, but here the rook is still on the h file. I think my rook belongs in the h file where I'm going all in for the attack. Yeah, so I'm not bothered about my king because it's not got castling, but maybe yes, I can just do king f1 when it's really really necessary. And considering the center, it's quite close right now. Oh wait, did I just blunder something like knight takes d4, knight takes d4, knight takes d4? Yes. Okay. I think that was a bad idea then. H4. I've seen this idea of knight takes, and queen a4 check. But the knight goes back to c6 and it protects the bishop. But then what about bishop b5 after that, where I'm threatening bishop takes c6, and I'm also threatening after that queen takes. And let's say bishop goes back, I take, and queen takes, and bishop comes to d7. What after that? Queen d6, 7. There's a lot of thinking to be done. Of course, it's not gonna be that easy. Knight takes, queen takes, queen takes. Also seeing rook takes, knight takes, I mean queen takes, and then takes, and then takes. I cannot take back because of this weird looking pin. I'm thinking about bishop a3, but then knight f3, queen f3, knight e5, queen c3. Position is completely collapsing. What I'm saying is knight takes, knight takes. Do I have anything interesting like maybe queen c4 where I'm hitting d4 and g7? Maybe that should be playable, I guess. Some ideas of bishop coming and taking. There should be some play left, hopefully. We don't mess it up. We go queen g4. Very tempting, but really hits the spot. G7. dark square bishop has a lot of options now. Not quite sure if enough compensations for the sacrifice. It really looks a lot of danger because queen g7 is a big threat and the rook is under attack, and if so, the rook has to go. Okay, knight b3. I saw this, but isn't this falling? Yeah, very unfortunate though, but that's the run. Check bd7, and then I think we can take on b3 and castles. Then I think there should be a lot of game left. Very dramatic game actually. There were a lot of tactics in the air. Because when it's night and he has how many pawns for the night? Yeah. He has two pawns for the night. Okay, if he doesn't do anything about the castling, then oh, e5. Looks like our opponent really needs to uh, get the pawn. All right, it's the e5 pawn. But he cannot actually take it because rook takes a5 is always a threat. So if I castle here, and he can castle, then bishop there and bishop to d6 is a very strong and continuation. Let's say castles, bishop a3, rook moves, and then maybe rook to here, maybe, and then bishop to d6. And queen has to move. Yeah, maybe here, so that a5, and then queen takes, bishop takes, and then maybe we are just better. Yeah, I think we can castle. I think castling long is very strange because of course I have like two semi-open styles and we are very wrong decision, but never know. People can always surprise you. Could be that be for surprises. Yeah, if you see that move, you'll really not be afraid of it. Yeah, so the king looks pretty safe now, not in the center. We're not going to lose the pawn with the check. So the rook is also ready to be activated. The rook on f1. The rook on a1 is anyways beautifully placed, putting pressures on the position it is. And the bishop is having some great options. I think it's this knight which is really not doing anything because it's stopped by its own pawn. And well, maybe this square is really pretty, that d4 square for it. My other idea was knight a3, knight b5, knight b5, and knight a4. Yeah, bishop a3. Let's go. Let's go with this idea first. And bishop d6, getting our bishop in a very good position. I also would like a bishop to be stay on this diagonal, which is actually not problem. Yeah. Can questions screen what are you going to do? And kind of forced to offer a trade, I believe. Yeah, queen b6 is a bit much uh, forcing. Then maybe after that I can go for this plan, improving my, or even c4 for that matter might also be interesting. Two pawns and getting into the end game. Mm, with these two pawns against us. Maybe bishop, this middle game plan of bishop a3, bishop b6 may not be the best. Maybe rook c1 and c4 would have been also a good way to continue. Yeah, maybe it's also possible now. But queen b6 is the only way to play for the black. And okay, and can I just do queen a3 and then just take this guy down? What will he do? So queen b6, queen a3. Where is this bishop going? Just that bishop has a good continuation, good square to place himself. Yeah. The queen is overloaded. By the term overloaded, I mean it's doing a lot of job. Like say like the bishop and it's protecting the seventh rank or the b7. Yeah, it's doing a lot of job. Yeah. So we call that as an overloaded piece. Yeah. Queen a3, just very powerful. This bishop is so badly placed right now. Yeah. Hmm. Maybe just give up the bishop for the pawn at least and the knight out and it's over. b4, queen a3, queen a5, takes on c2, knight takes. It's nothing after that. Absolutely nothing. All right. I think that's the end of the bishop. Yeah, very interesting position there. What is he really aiming at? Hmm, let's see. Nothing. I don't see anything for black here. Oh, I really like rook d1. So, okay, he's aiming at h4 also. Yeah, something is there. Spawn, bishop. Whenever you're up in material, Rule is you trade. Interesting. Go bishop b5 and exchange it out. Knight b5. I think knight b5 is fair. Knight b5 is very much fair. Queen takes h4. Such positions where it makes you think like right or wrong. Three pieces, three pawns for two pieces. Yeah, just three pawns. Still are a piece of materially. Looks coming and taking care. I think my knight would look really nice on the d4 square. Yeah. Should I exchange the queens or should I just let it be? Isn't this a lot of material? What if this follow? I actually spotted it right now, so I was not seeing it actually. We did. We are going to analyze this game. This is an interesting game, I would say. D4 takes a3, take on d4, d3, a5. h3 and d4, 97, bishop d3, knight f5. Casting was right. Okay, somebody has already played h4 in this position. Okay, well, that is actually not the best move, guys. Better for white. Wow, so not fair because check and this is falling. Yeah, this is over. One plus five, which is we already got 2000 plus points here. Yes, so let's go with the Scandinavian here. Good choice of openings are very important for tactical player, and Sicilian is a very good choice. And here there is just one or two variations where things can really get bit of bit out of hand. Tactics is very important. Knight c3, queen h5. All these things look really interesting, but in reality, the all the weight. Putting pressure on b4, f3 as well. And our idea is to castle and put more pressure on d4. Hmm. White can definitely play knight c3, for which I'm thinking queen f5 is playable or queen h5. Anything should be, both should be interesting, but one should be right. Because I see if queen h5, there should be h3, and then I'm kind of forced to capture. Okay, I'm not so forced to capture. Because he cannot capture because I take, but then if I castle, then he castles, and then maybe bishop takes h3, g takes h3, queen takes h3. Nice, nice continuation, and also. Had e6 been played, then bd6 would really a lot of fire. Yeah, interesting here. So I feel white is using a lot of thought here. Should we go pawn c4? Is also a very good, interesting continuation, and the knight to c3, okay. Or even pawn c3, or even castle. White is probably thinking, how do we continue? Because it's not very easy to find the right ideas. All right, so there we have it, knight to c3 with all the thinking. Seeing if knight here, knight h4, and then maybe we can okay, let me just go queen h5, which I don't like the move knight to coming to h4 and hitting my queen, and also the bishop on g4. No, I'm not doing that. So queen to h5, and then if h3, we just ignore that move, just wow, because he cannot capture, and we can go for the castle. So even he has to castle now, and now h3 looks very awkward because we can even capture on h3. Quite a strange feeling it was. 95, maybe I'll take back with the knight. Should be good because I don't see bishop takes c4, knight takes b4, queen takes c4, knight takes c4, h takes c4, queen takes h1. Yes. Now can I take on g3, h3? Oh, takes, takes 95. Hmm. Not so sure about the idea. What do you do? Can I play e5 and knight e5, knight e5? E5 takes, knight takes, d4, bishop f4 takes. Knight into d4, queen into knight d4. I'm looking at this idea that is knight takes d4, knight takes d4. There should be nothing, right? Because after bishop takes e2, queen takes e2, or even knight takes e2. This should be e5. Knight takes d4. Let's calculate this. Knight takes d4, knight takes d4. Bishop takes e2, queen takes e2, rook takes. Knight takes, I should have. Okay, knight takes d4, knight takes d4, bishop takes e2, knight takes e2, pawn to e5, c3 takes, 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 takes. Interesting. It's actually interesting. So knight takes d4, takes on g4, knight g4, and now there's a lot of threats in the position. That is, one is knight takes f3 and queen h2 mate, and uh, what will you do? Interesting, but it requires a lot of steps. And I'm seeing knight d4, bishop e2, uh, queen a2, then rook d4, if queen h5, then knight h5, and then knight b5, which attacks my rook and the pawn. And then let's say I put my rook to a4, then maybe b3 and rook a6. Really getting out of hand, so it's playable. Yeah, the rook coming in and this pawn push. And it's okay, it's playable, but you have to be a little bit more careful there. Let's give it a try. Knight d4. Spend a lot of time, more than 50% of our time for the last move. we have gone for this beautiful idea of knight takes d4. I don't know if it's right, but something tells me that it should be playable. After a deep thought, I feel that knight takes d4 would actually be the right continuation. It's okay if we lose the game, but we should be up for interesting ideas. Very, very interesting ideas. G4 is just hanging, so luckily H5 is also protected, friends. Very interesting tactics there. Utilizing the D file pin. Of course, our opponent cannot make the moves very quickly here. He has to calculate. He has to see. He has to see through Black's ideas, and he has to meet the depth. And that is what I like. I like to take my opponents deep down in the variations where things are very unclear, and may I prevail in such scenarios. Things are very blurry to me as well. It's not completely off. Knight takes. Very interesting, but it comes e5. All this was calculated well in advance, so nothing to be worried about until now. What I see. Finding this tactic was not so easy, but I'm really, really curious if it was right or wrong. Very interesting, though. It's really hot inside the mosque. It's really hot. Yeah, yes, that's what we're supposed to do. Knight takes, then queen takes. And the position is very much equal then. Yes, interesting. But can we do much more than this? I would not want my knight to be the corner in such a position. This position is very equal. Black has successfully equalized out of the opening. I don't see much advantage for black, but I also don't see much for white. Very equal end game, very, very equal end game. Knight c6 is what I see, but then I see rook takes d1 first. Rook takes d1, and then I can probably pick bishop. Should be better. Yeah. No very strong attack. So knight check and then move and then maybe takes and then maybe I can just play anything. Yeah, like c6. Yeah. Making the room for the king. Yeah, his pawn is a bit messed up in the center. So yeah, white did manage to equalize. Even in the midst of complications, he did find the accurate moves. Quite impressive. C3 we have there. Looking at this idea, centralizing the knight and then questioning the bishop, where will we go? I really want to hit that pawn and square. And then if something like this, I'm ready for even this. That's it. And maybe even rook d8 and head to g5, f5, and some position. I don't know. It just works somehow. Hmm. Okay, we have to be careful about some points. Knight f5 you're going to create because the rook hits knight and knight hits the pawn. Yes. I see this idea. I see it. I see it. Then I take, we take. I don't know my pawn something. All right, it's play was still equal, but then yeah, I said what I said. Hmm. Rook d7 is what I'm seeing. Is it working? Rook d7. Yes, what after that? Go with rook d7. Get the rook off the board. Then let's play h6, and I think bishop c1 should be fine, or even bishop h4. Then g5, bishop g3, and yeah, getting some important precious tempos there. Oh, this was a very sneaky trap because of this idea of c5, c, or c4, c5. Very clever, they're very clever, very clever. I go bishop e7, offering more trade. Is there, did I miss rook d5, bishop e7? Oh my god, did I just blunder? Did I just blunder there? Ah, I just blundered. Yes, his spot said we have to get into the finals. We have to put our opponent under pressure. There's no way we can, or else win this. If I am this and then this, trying something, maybe. Not sure. Maybe try to not allow our opponent to get into us. F3 looks like a very decent move there, for which I think I should be very careful of my next ideas. So keep my rook in the center, not begin to do anything interesting like move, even just hold on to this position. Put my opponent under time pressure and see what I get out of it. Poor king's position. G5. There's nothing from me in this position. Nothing. Maybe I go C4 just to see that I don't. And also maybe some kind of ideas to go about it on the side, just to hold. E3 looks not sure about this move, but it gives me some ideas. Okay, so 10 empires. A5. Being very careful with the kind of attack we're gonna put on our opponent. V6 pawn is vulnerable if we try for some kind of penetration on our opponent's camp. Takes, takes. That is the last tactic that I managed to win this. Absolutely fearless. Oh, knight d4 was right, you guys. Knight d4 was actually correct. Okay, maybe okay. This kind of accuracy I don't have. What is queen g6? I don't understand queen g6. Come on. How can you expect to win? After this move, rook takes d5, black was just losing. There's nothing slow poison over there. D4, b3, C4, rook B4. I think my rook is getting trapped here. There's nothing. Yeah, this is just horrible. We just got lucky here. Just got lucky because we got into this time cramp and yeah, after this, then maybe this is okay. Five should be six. This is not easy, guys. This is also very, very difficult to find. Practically, I would be really afraid about kind of playing. See, I have just messed it up. See, things are so difficult to figure out. Takes, and then we go and take, on coming in, takes. This is very, very, very difficult to be honest. In fact, say something like this. Okay, we have to understand the dynamics that even black has two pawns. That is why it went to h3 here. This game is just toast. So okay, let's calculate that our sacrifice which we did out of European to 95. Had he captured here, then knight g4, excellent. And then yes, this doing a lot of pressure in this position. This is what I was actually aiming for. Quite a good uh, way to continue. So wait. That was some good game actually. And actually some great chess today. Great chess. And this first game was also very, very important that how white got this interesting idea in the game. My phone doesn't recognize my face, of course. How could it? You know, yes. But to play one music and have some quick bullet games and what kind of sound do you need? Some slow sounds, some quick sounds. Just listen to Eminem. Just listen to Lose Yourself. Let's play some play.
One opportunity, seize everything you ever wanted. One moment to capture. Slip, slip. Yo, his palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. His arming on his sweat already. Mom's spaghetti, he's nervous. Being service, he looks calm and ready to drop bombs, but he keeps on forgetting what he wrote down. The whole crowd goes so let.
Okay.
Change what you call rage. Tear this motherfucker off like two dogs' cage. I'm sweating, getting change. I've been shooting up and spit out off stage, but I kept rhyming, step right in the next cipher. Let's believe somebody's paying to find cipher. All the pain inside hands to find line. The fact that I can't get by with mine, vibe and I can't find the right cipher. Life for my family, spending these goddamn stands for my keepers. And there's no my lady that I would even still fuck to this day. You go ahead, go nuts, go put you. Especially in my best sale on my best day. Act like you can't tell, baby. This gospel, I'm take this. Take this. Hey, girl. That's how long I've been on ya. Right now, I don't know if you got a plan tonight. If you made a plan tonight. If God put me in your plan tonight, I'm living this great, I'm seeing a lot. But I know that God put you in front of me. Better than him in front of me. The crowd, you probably one of me. I'm slipping, I'm caught in the moment, right? Cause you know it's the time down night. So we gonna do everything in time like heard that you anything for a fine day. Well, I'll do anything for a fine day. For the limelight. And we'll do anything when the time's right. Oh, baby, you're making it. I don't act like I never told you. Don't act like I told you. Uh, don't act like I told you. Don't act like I told you. Don't act like I told you. Maybe you're making it. That's how long I've been on ya.
Hello. Yes. Good. Okay. Yes, right. Okay. I'm just curious. Yes, yes. Okay. Yeah. So it's cannot actually, I can also do that. Club mini classes. For me, that's all the quality of the lesson. Like too many students, right? Yeah. 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 200 per session. Yeah, around 200 per session on an average. Okay, 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 okay. I understood. And these parents are maybe for upcoming new students, maybe I can do that model, but I don't know how long it will sustain. It's not only about, it's not only about this month, the previous also. Uh, yeah, that's a gap issue it doesn't pay, and no, no, and Luis, Hutchinson, and Sheila. I mean, so, yeah, I mean, they pay between 2000. Luis is 100 pays 2000, sometimes 1500 if she misses some class. I think lately she has missed few classes. He was hospitalized in some stomach infection. Then, who's this? Chances mother is to pay around 2000 to 2000, 2500 to 3000. And Tosh's mother pays around 2500. Yeah. No, see, it's okay. It's good that they have improved their plays and tournaments. That's important. But money will come eventually. That's all right. I need that rest for it. But the thing was, I've been doing a lot. I'm squeezing in a lot for my what is this classes. I mean, the budget, right? It's getting a lot of hampered. So I had to actually decide on the priority and thought about reducing the classes. I am against it, but the budget does not allow. If at all I add two more students, then I can definitely go for four classes. That's the thing. If they can pay some bare minimum also, it is fine. But I've given my work long time, so it's all right. So it comes from already. Yeah, yeah. Exactly, I understand that. Yeah, it's very touching. It's obvious, yeah. No, it's there in some classes where we do. Every class